Hi, welcome to this first video in the revision series for the 9th year diploma.
We're going to give you a general idea about the exam and how to revise for it.
Okay, let's start by talking about the different parts of the exam.
Sure, here is a sample. The exam lasts for just 1 hour, which is quite sufficient to deal with it with much ease. And as you know, it consists of 3 parts. Reading comprehension, graded out of 6 marks. The test and the comprehension questions are similar to those in the end-of-term tests. Then language, which is graded out of 8 marks, and it's generally composed of 3 exercises. And finally, the writing, which is graded out of 6 marks.
And the header is, of course, the same as for the other subjects. You fill it in with your registration code, your family name, your first name, and the name of your school.
Okay, so that was for the different parts of the test. Let's now talk about studying for it.
All right. How do you think the students should organize their time during the test?
Well, the first piece of advice we would give you, dear students, is to manage your time wisely. In other words, you should devote a specific amount of time to each part.
Indeed, just as a mere suggestion, we think it's adequate to spend no more than 2 minutes at the beginning filling in the header and leafing through the test to discover its content. Then, devote about 15 minutes to the reading, 15 minutes to the language, and 20 minutes to the writing.
As such, you will have about 8 minutes left to revise all your answers again at the end. This is only a suggestion, as we mentioned before. All that we're saying here is that you must manage your time well and devote enough time to each part of the exam. And by all means, use all the time you have and never leave any questions unanswered.
Definitely. You must try to deal with all the questions, even if you think you don't know the answer. Always try, but don't get stuck and waste too much time on one question because you risk not having enough time for the other ones. You can leave that difficult question and get back to it later on.
Yes, and at the end, make sure to review your work and check that you answered all the questions.
All right. So that was about the importance of time management during the exam. Let's now move on to talk about revision. What do you advise our students to do in order to revise?
For me, the first step is to prepare summaries of the contents of the books.
Okay, and how do you suggest doing that in a simple way?
Well, you know that there are 2 books for the 9th form, the student book and the activity book. In the student book, there are 6 modules dealing with different themes, which are family life, education, health and environment, services, entertainment, and civility. All the exercises in the exam have to do with these topics. So, if you would like to prepare for the writing activity, you have to make summaries of the ideas related to all the topics you studied. I also suggest that you keep a list of linkers and learn a few pertinent quotes to support your ideas.
For example, my students find mind maps very useful. They help them summarize ideas and visualize the relationships between the different concepts. Here are a few samples of mind maps related to different modules. You can also use Venn diagrams or simply graphic organizers and tables.
Great! My students also find these strategies very helpful. Now, something else. If you have a look at the page just after the title page of each module, you will see a roadmap, like the example shown on the screen. These roadmaps are very useful for you to have an idea about the grammar and vocabulary dealt with in each module. For instance, as you can see on the picture, these are the functions, grammatical structures, and vocabulary that we dealt with in module number 1.
Moreover, if you have a look at the last part of each lesson, you will find a summary of the grammatical point covered in that specific lesson. It's generally called Brush Up Your Grammar or your new grammar point. Besides, at the end of the student's book, there is a detailed summary of all the grammatical structures in the program.
Now, concerning the vocabulary, you can find a word list of the new lexical items at the end of each module in the activity book.
So make sure you understand the meaning of those words and keep your own list of them by writing the definition of each new word. And why not drawing or pasting a picture illustrating it? By the way, there are many online dictionaries that can assist you in doing this task. Some of these dictionaries can be downloaded to your mobile phone and used offline.
And of course, you shouldn't forget to write your own examples using the new word, because the best way to memorize a word is by using it in your writing and speech.
Right. We also advise you to have a notebook in which you keep record of all the vocabulary and grammar summaries you make. And if you prefer, you can type them.
Or if possible, use a note-taking app on your smartphone. There are plenty of these available for free download.
But before downloading anything to your phone or computer, please make sure that it's safe and that you can trust its provider. Don't forget to get your parents' permission first.
Yeah, sure. You can also ask for the help of your ICT teacher to check for any security or privacy issues.
Right. And since we're talking about the effective use of phones during the revision period, then I suggest you record yourself while explaining the grammatical rules, if possible, of course.
As such, you can listen to the explanation as many times as you wish. This helps you to memorize the rules more easily.
And it goes without saying that you must practice a lot.
Indeed, and don't forget to revise the notes on your copybook, too. The explanations provided by your teacher will definitely simplify the task of revision.
Another good revision strategy is to do the midterm and or end of term tests you set for again and check the correction.
Moreover, you'd better retake the self-evaluation at the end of each module in the activity book. This will help you further practice the new vocabulary and grammatical points.
By the way, if you don't want to use your books because you wrote the answers on them in class and there is no way to delete these, you can download the student and activity books from the CMP website.
In addition, you can download the past national exams and their correction from the following website.
Moreover, there are many online websites with interactive language exercises.
They can help you practice grammar, vocabulary, as well as different skills like listening, reading, and writing.
We made a list of a few of these. You can find it with the other links below the video.
Okay, if we recapitulate then,
the students need to make summaries of the grammatical points and the new vocabulary in the modules.
They also have to summarize the key ideas of the lessons in the mind maps and learn relevant quotes and linkers to use in their writing.
Yes, and devote some time to practice on a regular basis. Just bear in mind that English is not a difficult subject and that being up to date and making some efforts during the revision period, you are able to get excellent marks.
Absolutely. Well, this brings us to the end of this first video in the revision series. In the coming ones, we will give you detailed tips on how to deal with the different parts of the exam.
Stay tuned!